I have a question for you. If I told you before this race that Justin Allgaier, or I'm sorry, not just before this race, before this weekend, that Justin Allgaier would wreck in practice, 5 minutes into practice, then would have to go to a backup car. Then we get to the race, and he has to start at the back of the field. Let's add that to the list. Sure, why not? Drives all the way through the field, does a great job coming up, makes contact with a competitor. Non-championship competitor, but contact with a competitor. They fear a flat tire. Thankfully, they make it to the end of the stage, but they do lose some track position. Then, on the following restart violation. So you have to come down pit road under green and serve a penalty. And then while serving that penalty, speeding on pit road. I'm not making this up. And then on top of that, you finally get back in position to win this championship, win this race. And you have a slow pit stop. You can't get out of your pit stall on time. And that second to last restart, what could have been the last restart, you are third out of the championship four. If I told you those 7 things happened to Justin Allgaier on Thursday, you would say, no way. Too much has gone wrong for Justin Allgaier tonight. He is cursed. He can't win a championship. He's the Denny Hamlin of the Xfinity Series. He'll never win an Xfinity title. With all that, bet the house. Bet the bed, the house, the street, the block, the county. Bet the whole world Justin Allgaier is not going to win the championship after hearing all that. For the first time ever, I'm going to say these words. Justin Allgaier is an Xfinity Series champion. After all that, after crashing just a few minutes into practice, after having to go to a backup car, having to stay up extra hours in the night, having to spend all this time on a backup car, having to help the 9 car because he was also involved in the crash. Justin Allgaier himself helping with the 9 car, his teammate, then getting penalized twice, going a lap down, having to stay out, catching a caution at the right time. But then, when you finally get the championship lead, slow pit stop, can't get out of your pit box, and he still did it. He still won the championship. And this is a guy, as I said, who we thought was cursed. This is the guy who gets made fun of in the Xfinity Series for not being able to win a championship. No more jokes. Justin Allgaier is an Xfinity Series champion. Outside of Justin Allgaier, it was really an uneventful night. Riley Herbst dominated this race, led 167 out of 213 laps in what probably will be Stewart-Haas's last win as an organization in the NASCAR National Series. So Riley Herbst at Phoenix, great way to go out for him. Great way to go out for that 98 team Stewart-Haas Racing. I know they didn't get the championship, but to win the race, to get a trophy in their final ever NASCAR Xfinity race as Stewart-Haas Racing, of course, coming back, some of it as Haas factory team and whatnot. But outside of that, I mean, nothing too crazy in this race. The championship drama with Justin Allgaier and all of his issues that I listed, yeah, that was its own separate thing. But Cole Custer led the majority of this race in terms of the championship 4. Allmendinger was the weakest, and Allgaier had to charge through the field, and Austin Hill was just kind of second to third. I mean, we had our moments of drama, but it was all caused by back markers, by guys that are nowhere involved in this playoff. Justin Allgaier, when he caught that caution, he caught a caution because Anthony Alfredo blew a tire with 30 to go. This was after his penalty, after he got a penalty for first restart violation, which was clear-cut speeding, clear-cut penalty. So he's a lap down, and at this point, they have to swing for the fences. They need a Hail Mary of some sorts in terms of strategy, or else they're going to be pinned a lap down. They're out of the championship fight. And they run long. They run the cycle long. They stay on the lead lap as long as possible. And Anthony Alfredo cuts a right front tire, smacks the wall. That's the break they needed. They're able to get fresher tires. They had arguably the best car out of the championship 4. It's just that they couldn't get up front and stay up front without shooting themselves in the foot. And then Allgaier finally, slowly closing in. Cole Custer could not get past Jesse Love, teammate of Austin Hill, by the way, but it was hard racing. Nothing dirty like last week, but Jesse Love fighting for his life, fighting to hold off Cole Custer, maybe buy his teammate Austin Hill some time to catch up. Jesse Love holding off Cole Custer, then right behind Cole Custer, teammate of Justin Allgaier, Connor Zilic, trying to pass him. So Cole Custer, he's playing offense trying to get past the two, but he's also looking in his mirror trying to play defense on the 88, all while Justin Allgaier's tracking him down. But then Justin Allgaier gets there and he can't do anything. He's kind of just stuck. 00 can't get past the two. 88 can't get past the 00. 7 can't get past any of them. And then finally, the 88 is able to make a move on the 00. He gets side by side. He washes up the racetrack just a little bit, maybe a little bit of contact. But then finally, that allows Allgaier to get by the 88. And when Allgaier had a clear shot at Custer, he took that clear shot, was able to get past Cole Custer cleanly, I might add. And then those two almost nose to tail for about 4 or 5 laps. 3 laps to go. Who's it going to be? Custer, Allgaier, all while Austin Hill, by the way, is closing in on the top 2. And once again, we have a guy who is nowhere remotely close to being in the championship fight, nowhere remotely close to being in contention for this win, being an impact on this championship. This is why I hate this format. A guy, all due respect to Leland Honeyman, who is nowhere close to contention for this thing, spins out with 2.5 laps to go and potentially impacts the championship. Now, Justin Allgaier was leading at the time, and he ended up winning the championship, but what if Cole Custer got by Justin Allgaier in those last 2 laps? What if he bump and runned him? What if those two got together and Austin Hill went and won the championship? We'll never know, but it's an exciting thought, I guess. But instead, we got a couple NASCAR overtime restarts with more back markers wrecking and causing more cautions. And Justin Allgaier, once again, the perseverance that not just him, but this team had to show. They had a decent pit stop itself, but Allgaier getting out of the pit stop just spun the tires. He couldn't launch, and ultimately, he restarted this thing 6th. Front row, leader of the race, Austin Hill on 2 tires. Second row, 4th place or top line, row 2, Cole Custer on 4 tires. And then right behind Custer, Justin Allgaier on 4 tires. 2 laps to decide the championship. Austin Hill had his teammate on the bottom, so he had his teammate essentially blocking anyone making any crazy moves. And finally, Custer takes his opportunity at the chance, tries to go up high. Austin Hill washes up the track to go block him, which is what you're supposed to do for a championship. Allgaier sneaks on by, goes on by. Once again, there was a wreck, but Allgaier able to run away with the championship. Riley Herbst was fighting him for the lead late, but Allgaier, the race win did not mean anything to him. He wanted to win the championship. He backs off, lets Herbst by, knowing that it's not worth getting roughed up, potentially losing the championship. By the way, really close call on the restart. Allgaier went up to block or clear or something, and he about wrecked himself in front of the 2 and the 98, but he did not. But Justin Allgaier, think about all he's been through. He's been in the Xfinity Series, 15 or so years. He's come so close to winning this championship. He's made 7 Championship 4 appearances, and it took a night where they needed to make 7 mistakes. Ironically enough, lucky number 7. But Justin Allgaier, it's been so long in the Xfinity Series, and just like, as we said, the Denny Hamlin of the Xfinity Series, he's been, the joke, the butt of the joke for a long time because, he can't win a championship. Justin Allgaier's never going to win a championship. He can't win a championship. That joke's dead, so got to find something else, Xfinity Series fans, because that joke's dead. But Justin Allgaier now can go home. He's an Xfinity Series champion. Joked about walking away from the sport on the spot for winning the championship. But Justin Allgaier is an Xfinity Series champion after all the work he's put in, after all the tough years, all the close calls he's had. He's finally done it. He did it in the most inconvenient fashion. He did it in the most painful way, honestly. The most mistake-ridden way, but he did it. He won a championship. I don't think he cared how he did it, whether he led every single lap or did what he did tonight, but he did it. Justin Allgaier is an Xfinity Series champion. Once again, Riley Herbst, your race winner. His third career win in Xfinity. What a way to send Stewart-Haas off in terms of getting them a win in their final weekend. I know they wanted that championship. Cole Custer, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, was next in line. Eric Almirola finished third. He was in contention for the Owners' Championship. They end up falling short. Cole Custer finishes eighth. It's got to sting. Defending champion, you've been arguably the best guy in Xfinity all year. You won the regular season championship. It's got to sting for Cole Custer. And considering the situation that it was Stewart-Haas's last race in the Xfinity Series. Now he's going to race with Haas Factory Team in the Cup Series next year. I know that he's very happy to be back in Cup to continue with Gene Haas, but it's still got to sting. But once again, they had a phenomenal year. They won races. They won the regular season championship. They made it back to the championship 4. They won a championship last year. Nothing to be ashamed of. Cole Custer, a fantastic year, a fantastic career at Stewart-Haas. We can say that now. Remember, he won a cup race with them as well. Kentucky 2020. But Cole Custer, nothing to be ashamed of, not just tonight, but in his career with Stewart-Haas Racing. And this year, once again, another phenomenal year for him. AJ Allmendinger ends up finishing third in the standings. And Allmendinger, once again, he was the weakest of these 4 all night. And it really just described Kaulig's year. Kaulig Racing was at the top of the Xfinity Series for a long time, consistently being in contention for the win at any track. This year, we only saw them win at road courses. And yes, Allmendinger got that win at Las Vegas, but we never saw them consistently compete for wins, whereas even last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that team, they could win any given week, whether it was Justin Haley, Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger, you name it, they could win a race any week. Martinsville, Richmond, Texas, Phoenix, Talladega, Watkins Glen, you name it, they had a shot at winning, but this year, they just never quite had it. And thankfully, they showed up at the right time at Las Vegas to win that race with Allmendinger, but today they just never quite had the speed. Had to start at the rear due to switching the brakes out, and they were able to make their way up through the field, but just, once again, never quite able to be competitive enough for the championship. And then Austin Hill finishes 4th, and they had a solid top 5 to top 10 car, but never quite up there with Custer, and then when Allgaier was good enough. But they made a strategy call at the end. They tried something different, which I applaud, which I respect. Good for them, but they fell short. And Austin Hill, just like Cole Custer, I want to say, and AJ Allmendinger's year, all these guys, great years for them. But Austin Hill led the series in wins this season, 4 wins on the year. A great year for him, a great year for RCR, a great step going into next year, looking for that first Xfinity Series title. They're going to have a great shot at it next year. And then Shane Van Gisbergen, he finishes his first full-time NASCAR season in the Xfinity Series with a 12th place finish. Finished 6th in the spring here, ends up finishing 12th. Tonight we will go over this race more in a live stream that I will announce in due time. But Parker Kligerman finishes 14th in his final start as a full-time driver. I'm trying to think of any other significant. Anthony Alfredo got parked for 2 laps for intentionally wrecking Stefan Parsons. All right. But Justin Allgaier, an Xfinity Series champion. That's right. You heard me right. This is not an April Fool. He has done it. Tomorrow we crown a champion in the Cup Series. Once again at Phoenix Raceway. Hopefully it's fun. Can't promise it, but I can hope it. Joey Logano was the highest qualifier of the championship 4. This might really happen. Tune in tomorrow to see my thoughts.